We're taking over this town. I wish Pantera would take over my town. It's getting kind of ghetto. Just kidding. Kinda. Welcome to the Josh Cast or the podcast or the Ash Cast. Thanks for joining me again. Or, in an hour we'll talk about nerd out and talk about, movies and music. I just want to, keep it in a box and not say just metal or just horror movies. I like everything under the sun. Just the majority of what I watch and listen to or horror and heavy metal albums, but I like a little bit of everything. So for an hour, we'll talk about that. That shit ain't funny, motherfucker. Don't you never let me see you do that shit again. I'll fuck you up. All right, let's get to the movie and movie news. I guess I'll start with the music first. I saw that there is a new supergroup called Category 7 with John Bush on vocals, Phil Demo on guitar. I think what's his name? I think his last name's Orlando. He was in like Adrenaline Mob. I can't remember his name. I think he's on the guitar too. I think it has Jason Bitter on drums. I can't remember who was on bass, but I think they're coming out with their album on Metal Blade Records, if I'm not mistaken, in July. So they have a new song called In Stitches. I have to play it on this podcast. I don't have a copy where I can play, but maybe when the album comes out, I'll do a review of it. But it sounds like it's going to be a cool band. I like the single In Stitches. Sounds really good. Movie news. I guess I keep hearing about this movie called Abigail. I know it's in the movie theater. I don't know if the little girl's like a vampire or it looks kind of interesting. And I saw Dan Stevens is in it. I always like Dan Stevens and stuff. He's in The Guest and that X-Men show called Legion. I remember checking the Legion out. It always looked like super cool. But anyway, I'm gonna have to check that out. I might have to get it when it comes out on Blu-ray. I saw that Late Night with the Devil is coming out on Blu-ray, I think in September. So that would be cool. I'm definitely gonna pick that up. I also saw that Peter Jackson is hinting of releasing Dead Alive or Brain Dead on 4K and Blu-ray and sometime this year. I know he's hinted that for a while. I keep hearing that they want to do that with Dawn of the Dead. I heard Peter Jackson wants to do that with all his kind of earlier movies. That would be amazing because I think Dead Alive needs a Blu-ray or 4K release really bad. It's been out of print for probably several years now. So I would definitely look forward to that. I saw that, if I'm saying his name right, the director of Mandy, that crazy movie with Nicolas Cage, that I love the movie. The director, I hope I'm not getting his name wrong, Pantos, I don't even want to try to attempt to say his name, but he's making a new movie with Oscar Isaac and Kristen Stewart called Flesh of the Gods. It's like a vampire flick. So that sounds really interesting. I definitely want to check that out. I saw the Caballero brothers. They've been kind of redoing their early Sepultura, I can't talk. Sepultura like albums, re-recording them. They did the first EP and the first album. Now they're doing how about the Schizophrenia? So that'd be interesting. I think that's coming out pretty soon too. I definitely have to check that out. There's a lot of bands hinting on making new stuff. I heard Anthrax. I saw Anthrax is in the studio. I think Dream Theater is completed their album. I think Matt Portnoy is back in the band, and I think their album that they made with him recently, I think it's completed, and so I don't know when that's going to come out. I saw Testament is making a new album too. That would be interesting. The last one, Titans of Creation, was awesome. So that would be really interesting. So it's a lot of good stuff coming out. There's not a lot of TV and movie news I've really heard since the last couple podcasts. But I'm going to pay attention, and the big ones I'll definitely talk about on this podcast. Before I move on to the first album I'll talk about on this week's podcast, I want to do a new segment, kind of like an album review on albums that kind of came out recently. The first album I was going to talk about today is by the legendary Judas Priest, their newest album, Invincible Shield. I think this album is really, really solid. It just kind of has that old kind of classic Priest kind of on steroids. I think I like their album from 2018, Firepower, a little bit better, but this one's pretty solid. I was going to play some tracks now and kind of talk about it. That was a badass track. It kind of like, I think the first part kind of reminded me of something that would be on Turbo, but then it gets like super heavy. Cool track. I was going to play some more tracks off the album. So here we go.
get something's cool.
The next album I was going to review is by a band called X Hoarder. I know they always get kind of Pantera always get kind of accused of like ripping off X Hoarder's sound. We heard their first two albums; they kind of like a Pantera sound, but I don't know. I think we just get two great bands out of it. I know X Hoarder broke up for a long time, and they came back with an album, I don't know, a couple of years ago. That one's really good, too. And I was going to review their new one called Defectum Omnium. I hope I'm saying that right. It's pretty solid. It has kind of a doom metal kind of feel. So I'm going to play one of the tracks now off of it. Pretty badass, brutal. I'm going to play you one more track off the new X Hoarder album, and I'm going to move on to the classic metal album of the week. If you couldn't tell by the sound bites, the metal album or album I'm going to talk about today is the legendary, the Cowboys from Hell themselves, Pantera's album, Cowboys from Hell. For a long time, I thought this was their first album. I didn't know they had kind of independent releases. I didn't really hear those for like years and years and years. And kind of only way I could like listen to them or find them or through like downloads or bootlegs. And I really like power metal. The other albums are good. They're just kind of cheesy, I guess. But I think Cowboys from Hell has like kind of slowly become my favorite Pantera album. It's the one I probably listen to the most. I don't know. I just like the kind of thrash parts, and I feel like Phil's voice, I feel like it's kind of shot out now from doing the screaming. You could kind of do like the Rob Halford screams, with like mixing that with like hardcore, kind of like a hardcore kind of punk kind of vocals. I just, they just kind of changed the game. I feel like after they came out, everybody just kind of sounded like Pantera. They're like one of those bands that comes out every once in a while, and everybody sounds like them, or they change their sound to sound like them because they're so big and so different. Just kind of like Nirvana. Once Nirvana came out, I feel like there's 20, 50 bands that wanted to sound like them. So trying to think, the first time I heard this album, probably the 90s. I think it was when Far Behind Driven came out. I wasn't totally enamored with metal yet. I was listening to like heavy grunge bands like Soundgarden, Alice in Chains, and Nirvana. I think our buddy got Far Behind Driven and just kind of played it, and I was like, holy shit, this is like the heaviest thing I've ever heard. And I think my first Pantera album I ever got, though, was Great Southern Trendkill. I think it was new when it came out in 1996, and I was like, I've heard about this band. This band's really cool. I want to try to get into them. So I bought that and kind of went back from there. I think the next album I got after that was Vulgar. And I think I got Far Behind Driven, and then I finally got Cowboys from Hell. I heard I think I got the live album, the 101 proof, 100% live album, and this kind of heard the live version of Cemetery Gates and just loved it. And I think I kind of wanted to like have the studio version, and I just love that song. I think that's one of the best fucking songs ever written, ever made. I was like, that's still one of my favorite songs ever. I feel like it's my generation's Freebird. I just think that song's awesome, Cemetery Gates. And I don't know, that's just one of the kind of milestones on that album, gems on that album. They just kind of elevated to, cult status. I think I first heard Cemetery Gates, I think on the Demon Knight soundtrack. You know what? I'm sorry. Yeah, the Demon Knight. I think they kind of edited it. It's not as long, which kind of sucks. I think you need every bit of that song in there. But I'm going to play some tracks off of it and just kind of talk about it some more. And it's produced by Terry Date. And I think Pantera pretty much just kind of toured with everybody, and I think everybody was friends with Dime and Vinny, and I mean everybody. I think they made friends. I don't think they, I don't think anybody met them didn't like them. They seemed like they were just the coolest people, I wish I could have met them, especially Dimebag. But I kind of went to a Hell Yeah concert. It was, don't make fun of me, you can if you want to, but Five Finger Death Punch, Volbeat, and Hell Yeah. I want to say it was a third band, but I can't remember. But I remember Hell Yeah was the first band to go on that day. There might have been another opener band, but I can't remember. But I remember I was sitting on the side of the stage, and Vinny was like setting up his drums or something like that, and I kind of waved at him, and he waved back, and I just thought that was the coolest thing. Of course, you can't talk about Pantera now without talking about the the newest incarnation. I guess that's not really Pantera, but it's still. I had mixed feelings. I'm glad to see Pantera back, but it's kind of not Pantera without the Abbott brothers. But I think it's cool. I watched the whole concert on YouTube of the new incarnation of Pantera, which is Zakk Wylde on guitar, Charlie Belafonte from Anthrax, and Rex Brown on bass, of course, and of course Philip Samo on vocals. But they sounded really good. I would love to go see them live. I never got a chance to see the original band. So, yeah, I mean, I hope they make an album, but I hope they just don't call it, Pantera. I hope they call it something else. But I think Charlie was saying that, I don't think they would ever call it Pantera. But, Zakk Wylde's kind of coming to the public now, kind of saying that, Dimebag's kind of come to him and kind of spoke to him in ways that, kind of reunite Pantera. I think we need, more Pantera in the world. I would love to see what they record, what it would sound like. I'm sure it would sound like Pantera, but what they would call it, they should, kind of do what Black Sabbath did when Dio came back and they couldn't use the Black Sabbath moniker. They kind of called themselves Heaven Hill. They should do something like that. Call it Cowboys from Hell or something like that. Anyway, I'm gonna play some tracks. from this album, and I'm going to play some of my favorite tracks and kind of talk about it. So stay tuned.
Spread the word throughout the land, we say, bad guys, we're black, we're taking cancer, man.
That of course was Heresy and Cowboys from Hell. Two tracks off of Cowboys from Hell, apparently. It's kind of hard picking what tracks to play because I think the whole album is good. It's one of those whole albums is classic metal. I think my favorite song though. My favorite song is probably The Art of Shredding. I might play that at the end of the podcast because I could play the whole album in this podcast, and it's only I don't want it to be more than just kind of under an hour. I don't want it to be like 2 hours and people lose interest. The two people listen to my podcast, but you can't talk about this album without playing Cemetery Gates. I first heard this song I think on the Demon Knight, Tales from the Crypt Demon Knight soundtrack. So I'm gonna play it now. I know they have two versions of the video and the song. I know they have one video that's kind of directly tied to the Tales from the Crypt movie, which was cool. And they have the original video, so go find both of them. I'm sure they're on YouTube under, was it Vivo? Is what it's called? But I'm gonna play Cemetery Gates right now. Badass track, awesome song. Never get tired of it. If I would prefer, I probably prefer the album version to the live version. But check it out now.
Crucified for no sins. this picturesque block, in this manicured home, something evil, something terrifying, something horrifying is haunting Rhino. His mother.
I thought I told you to spray this house. The place infested with vermin.
Although she was a little strict,
Look at this dust. It's an inch thick.
he never wished her any harm
You look after me.
until
Your mother's dead, Lionel.
now, whatever Mom's got
Who's your mother?
has caught on with the neighbors.
You know what that means?
You can pray.
I kick ass for the Lord.
You can plead. You can beg for mercy.
Help! Someone!
But nothing you can do will stop. Because how do you kill something that's already dead? Trimark Pictures presents a modern masterpiece of horror.
Your mother ate my dog!
Dead Alive.
Party's over.
My movie of this week is the criminally underrated, the Splatterfest, Dead Alive in America and Australia or New Zealand. It was Brain Dead by the amazing, talented director Peter Jackson. I think this is his third movie. I really didn't see this movie till probably the 2000s. It's kind of hard to find. I've always heard about it, and I think it was on Netflix for a short period of time, maybe in the early 2000s. I just this movie's just a blast. It's got that vibe of kind of Evil Dead 2, a lot of humor. Probably one of the goriest movies I've ever seen. I think they broke a couple of records for using like gallons and gallons of blood in the last kind of act of the movie. If you haven't seen it, I don't want to ruin it. What it's about is it takes place in 1957. These scientists, or I guess they're scientists, they bring over a monkey from Skull Island. Yeah, that Skull Island from King Kong. I can't remember what kind of monkey they call it, like a zombie monkey or something. They bring it over to the zoo to New Zealand, and the main character Lionel takes his he's got a date at the zoo. His mom's very overbearing and is kind of following him on his date, and she gets bitten by this zombie monkey, and eventually it kills her and turns her into a zombie, and this kind of havoc pursues after that. This is a fun movie. If you're a horror fan, you haven't seen this, definitely check it out. I mean, I was kind of late to the game. It's kind of hard to find. Peter Jackson keeps saying he wants to release a 4K version. That would be amazing. I hope he does that soon. I was lucky enough to find a DVD version at a used kind of record store, but it's kind of like my golden treasure. I mean, it's just the Blu-rays on eBay. It's just they go for like crazy amounts, and I'm hoping they re-release it too. They need to re-release soon. I was hoping maybe somebody like Scream Factory, somebody like that, or Arrow can re-release it. I'm sure. I know Peter Jackson has the rights. So I'm sure he'll take care and make it the best it can be. It really needs a re-release bad. But fun horror movie. It's my movie of the week. Fun movie. If you can find it, watch it. Sadly, it's not on streaming. I don't know why. Maybe it'll be on streaming soon. I've seen a lot of out-of-print movies come to streaming. But it's just such a fun movie. I watched it several times. I watched it with my family not too long ago. My wife's just like, what is this? And I love it. It's all practical effects. It's so awesome. Such a cool movie. Check it out.
Oh, what's a coincidence? I got some real cool cod piece too.
That's a dildo? A strap-on dildo?
I'll screw you all off. My cod piece is the coolest.
guys just moved in, huh?
How do you know?
I live next door to you. What happened there? Some kids from school? I'll help you. But you're a girl. I'm a lot stronger than you think I am. Can you hear me through the wall? Only sometimes.
I found another body a few days ago. Victim completely drained of blood. Please don't see that boy again.
Where's your dad? He pissed on my dad. What was that? What was going on?
Hello?
What are you? Really? I need blood to live.
Hey there. You okay? There's a whole lot more than just what's been going on around here. This goes way back, other states, other cities.
I have to go away.
Maybe you got something you want to tell me?
Do you think there's such a thing as evil?
My second movie of the week is put out by Hammer, and I think 2010, 2011. It was actually a remake. I didn't know that the first time I saw it. Matt Reeves actually directed it. Matt Reeves ended up, directing Cloverfield, the Batman with Robert Pattinson. That ended up being really good. I thought, in my opinion. A lot of people hate that movie, but I think he went on to do some of the Planet of the Apes movies, which are really good. But the movie I'm talking about today is Let Me In. It's a vampire flick that takes place in the 1980s. Very, very good. I actually have the first one too, which is called Let the Right One In. That I think it's a Swedish movie. I've only seen that once. I've seen the remake Let Me In several times. It has Chloe Moretz. I hope I'm saying her name right. Which is Hit Girl in the Kick-Ass movies. I probably didn't say her name right, but the remake is awesome. It's one of my favorite horror movies in the last 20 years, my opinion. It's about a little kind of, I want to say a little boy, a boy in his preteens lives with his mom. Him and his mom and his dad's got divorced. Him with his mom, and he gets picked on at school. And I think he's starting to have they kind of allude that he's got serial killer tendencies, and he kind of gets interested. He sees this girl his age kind of move in, which he thinks is his age, moving to this complex, this apartment complex him and his mom live in, and he has what he thinks is her dad living with them, which is not the case. And it's just a very interesting, very cool vampire flick. I'll tell you a little bit about it. Spoilers. Probably spoiled a little bit already, but he comes to find out that the girl is a vampire. Has been a vampire probably for maybe 40 or 50 years, and of course she's a vampire. She doesn't age, so he thinks that she's his age, and the guy taking care of her is not her dad. Is actually started out a young boy, and now he's a grown and older adult that kind of goes out and kills for her and brings back victims for her to feed on, because she's a vampire. And this detective starts to kind of get wind, starts to investigate, starts to get close to this, and all these weird circumstances happen where people start to disappear around time. Weird things start to happen. Very cool vampire flick. I just think this had a really good story. Very dark. This kind of scared. One of the best vampire flicks I've seen in a while. I think Hammer movies were trying to come back out and put out movies. They did put out the Woman in Black with Daniel Radcliffe in the sequel, and then this. I don't know what else they put out. I don't know if they're still putting out movies. And then they kind of went into hibernation for a while. They were real big in like the 50s, 60s, and 70s. But dark movie, but really good. This different, a cool kind of take on vampire mythos. I love this movie. I think I know a lot of people say the original one is better. I have both, but I just really like the remake. I don't know. Like I said, when I first saw it, I didn't know it was a remake. If I would have saw the original first, I might have liked that one. But I have both, and I love both. So check it out if you haven't. It's a classic. It came out, probably 15 years ago. I still have to watch it every Halloween. It's up there with Cabin in the Woods and kind of newer classics in my book. It's cool. Richard Jenkins is in both Cabin in the Woods and this movie. I think he's just a great actor. I love him in Step Brothers. He makes me laugh. But he's kind of the protector of her. He goes out and it's almost like he's like he is a serial killer. He kills people, brings it back for her to feed, and the detective thinks it's kind of a satanic or some kind of weird cult that they're in. I think that's an interesting take on that. People would think that because it's really weird. And he kind of gets hurt and dies. He commits suicide to protect her. And so she kind of helps the little boy. And by the end of the movie, you kind of allude to think that he's going to be the new kind of guardian or the person they kind of go out and kill for and bring her back. It's almost like she uses these people, but loves them at the same time. Sorry, I can't talk. Sorry, it's really loud. I'm on my porch doing these podcasts, and I feel like I live on like a fucking racetrack or something. But anyway, it's really loud. But please excuse the sound effects and stuff. But it's all natural. But Let Me In, great movie. It's my second movie of the week. I love it. If you haven't seen it, check it out. Check out both of them. They're great. They're probably on streaming, I would think. But I wish I could see more horror movies like that. Like I said, I think Matt Reeves is a great director. Thought he did a good job. I can't wait to see the Batman 2. I love the Batman. And I was kind of an advocator for the Ben Affleck Batman movie that never came to fruition. I really wanted to see it, but I love what we got. I went and saw it with my dad. I kind of dragged my dad to see it, and he didn't want to see it, but he ended up loving it, and that's just such a cool Batman movie. They made the Riddler kind of like a Zodiac killer, serial killer. I thought that was really, really cool. I just thought that was such a cool movie, and I can't wait for the sequel. I know I'm getting off on a tangent, but I think Matt Reeves is a great director. But Let Me In, if you haven't seen it, cool vampire flick, definitely check it out. Very well made, very well acted. Great movie. It is my second movie of the week, so go check it out.
Well, hello, Mr. Fancy Pants. I got news for you, pal. You ain't leading but two things right now. Jack and shit. Jack left town.
That about wraps up the podcast. I'm outside. I'm underneath the porch umbrella. I don't know if you can hear it raining. But anyway, I'm going to play some more Pantera because it's my fucking podcast. I'm just kidding. I mean, I'm not, but I am. But I'm going to play The Art of Shredding, and then I'm going to play you one more Exhorter song to take you out. But yeah, that was my third podcast. These are a blast to do, and I just had a blast doing them. I can kind of do them kind of quick because I have no life, but just kidding, kind of. But I hope you enjoy them. I'm going to put up more, talk about the same thing. So I'm going to play you Pantera, The Art of Shredding, and then I'm going to play Exhorter. That was Art of Shredding on K-Rock 105.7. Yeah, right. Like they would ever play Pantera on the radio. Radio sucks ass. But anyway, I've had a couple beers. I'm sorry. This is the end of the podcast. I've had a good time. I hope you have too. I'm going to play you one more Extorter song called Desensitized. Badass song. I kind of bought this album right when, the new Judas Priest album came out. And I kind of listened to it one time on the way to work and kind of threw it in my sea of CDs. So I'm listening to it again. It's really growing on me. And I just got their last CD, the last Extorter CD before this one called More in the Southern Skies. I might have to listen to it more. I really love this band. I got one of their records, and I have their box set they put out a couple years ago where they had The Law and Slaughter in the Vatican in the same box set on CD. And I'm gradually getting their CDs. I think I have all of them now. But I'll play some more Extorter in another podcast, and I'm gonna play you out with this last song off their new album, Defectum Omnium. I hope I'm saying that right. Probably not. But I'd like to play, do some more reviews on other bands. I had a blast. I want to do some more Pantera reviews. I love their albums. Cowboys do Reinventing the Still. So I want to talk about those and talk about my favorite band, Metallica. I know that they get a lot of shit now, and I understand. They haven't really made an album like Master and Puppets since the 80s, and probably too rich for their own good. But I still love their albums. I loved the last album that came out last year, Lux Eterna. I had to maybe play some of that soon. And I love Death Magnetic. I think that's such an underrated album. And I love the Howard or Self-Destruct. I thought that was a great album too. But we'll play you out with this one last Extorter song. It's pretty badass. Hope you like it. Thank you for listening. Cheers.